Welcome to The Other Opinion. We're the channel that takes on the perspectives you might not hear elsewhere.
That's right. We dive into the sources to really understand complex issues.
And today, we're tackling a really tough one, the Nagorno-Karabakh conflict. We're drawing heavily from a detailed explanation by Vox on YouTube.
Our goal is to unpack what triggered that intense war back in September 2020.
And maybe even more importantly, what that dramatic ceasefire on November 9th actually means for the region. People called it a frozen conflict for years.
Yeah, but as we'll see, it was anything but frozen. Okay, let's get into it.
So September 27th, 2020, explosions hit Nagorno-Karabakh. What made this time different from all the previous skirmishes? It wasn't the first time fighting broke out, right?
Oh, definitely not. But, the difference was the scale and speed. It went from clashes to full-blown war almost immediately.
A full war.
Yeah. Both sides were accused of bombing civilian areas. Thousands died. And then suddenly, Armenia surrendered on November 9th. Azerbaijan declared victory. Yeah. It wasn't just another flare-up. It felt like a decisive shift.
Okay, so let's set the scene a bit. Nagorno-Karabakh. It's this mountainous area between Armenia and Azerbaijan.
Right. Internationally, it's seen as part of Azerbaijan.
But it was occupied by Armenia for, what, nearly 30 years?
Yeah.
After that war in '94?
Exactly. And the population there, historically, mostly ethnic Armenian. You've got medieval Armenian churches there.
But there was also a significant Azeri minority, wasn't there? Including the city of Shusha.
Yes, Shusha, a really important citadel right in the middle. So you have this complex mix. How did it even get like this officially?
Good question. What's the history there?
Well, after the Russian Empire collapsed, Armenia and Azerbaijan fought over it. Then the Soviets came in, took over the whole Caucasus around 1921.
And they made the decision.
They did. They made Nagorno-Karabakh an autonomous region, but crucially within the Azerbaijani Soviet Republic.
Even with its majority Armenian population.
Despite that. So the ethnic Armenians there couldn't join the Armenian Republic like they wanted. And this basically simmered under Soviet rule.
Until Glasnost. In the 80s.
Exactly. Gorbachev's policy of openness. It was meant to allow more freedom, but, well, it also kind of opened Pandora's box. Ancient feuds like this one just erupted again.
And when the Soviet Union finally collapsed, that's when it turned into a major war.
Yes, the early 90s. It was brutal. Maybe 20,000 people died, over 1 million displaced.
And Armenia won that round in '94, occupying Nagorno-Karabakh and other Azeri lands around it.
Right. Which brings us to those supposed frozen years. What was really happening between '94 and 2020? Because something must have changed.
It clearly wasn't frozen if it exploded like that.
Not at all. Look at the military spending. Between 2008 and 2019, Azerbaijan spent something like $24 billion on its military.
Wow, $24 billion. How does that compare to Armenia?
It's about 6 times more than Armenia spent in the same period. Meanwhile, Armenia was, renaming towns in the occupied areas, moving settlers in. It was smoldering, not frozen.
Okay, so Azerbaijan is building up its military massively. What else changed?
Turkey. Turkey's role became much more assertive in the region. You saw it in Syria, in Libya.
And they backed Azerbaijan.
Strongly. They see Azerbaijanis as a fellow Turkic group, close ties. They even talk about one nation, 2 states.
So Turkey provided more than just political support.
Oh, yeah. Critically, they supplied advanced drones, lots of them. This gave Azerbaijan a huge technological edge. Some experts think the whole 2020 offensive was basically planned together in Ankara and Baku.
So those drones were the game changer, giving Azerbaijan the edge to push in so fast.
It seems that way. They made rapid advances, pushed deep into Armenian-held territory.
And they captured Shusha, right? That's strategic city.
Yes, capturing Shusha was a major blow. Armenia seemed almost defenseless against this new kind of warfare, which led to the ceasefire.
Let's talk about that ceasefire deal.
Yeah.
It sounds like it dramatically changed things on the ground.
It really did. Azerbaijan gets to keep the territory it captured during the war.
And Armenia has to hand over even more territory.
Yes. Additional areas they'd held since the 90s. Some parts of Nagorno-Karabakh remain under ethnic Armenian control, but now there are about 2,000 Russian peacekeepers there.
Ah, Russia. So they didn't fight, but they brokered the peace.
They brokered the deal, yeah. And, it conveniently gets Russian troops back on the ground, which fits their strategic interests.
And Turkey. Did they get anything out of it?
They definitely gained influence. There's a new road planned connecting Turkey to Azerbaijan, and Turkey also has its own peacekeeping role now, so they have a foothold too.
Okay, so Azerbaijan is celebrating. Russia and Turkey seem to have gained strategically. What about Armenia and, I guess, the people living there?
For Armenia, it's been devastating, a huge national trauma. There were protests, mobs storming government buildings demanding the prime minister resign. It's still a major political crisis.
And for the people on the ground?
Well, Armenians living in the areas now under Azeri control are being forced out. We saw those heartbreaking images of people burning their own homes before leaving.
While Azeris, who fled back in the 90s, can now return.
Exactly. So it's really more of a victor's deal than a sustainable peace. You know, the underlying issues aren't resolved.
It really underscores how things like old grievances, geopolitics, military tech, how they can just reignite a conflict everyone thought was dormant.
Absolutely. That frozen conflict idea was always misleading, and the current situation feels incredibly fragile.
So what's the takeaway? Is this just paused again, or is it really over?
Well, if you look at the bigger picture, the hostility is still there, deeply. And you have Russia and Turkey with their own interests heavily invested in the region. It makes you wonder, could there be another round?
Yeah.
How do you actually build real peace when the core problems remain and these big powers are involved? It's a tough question.
It certainly is. A sobering thought to end on. We hope this deep dive gave you some valuable perspective. Remember, this podcast was created with the help of AI to bring you information. But always do your own research as well.
Definitely. And if you found this useful, please do hit that like button.
Yeah, and comment below. We love hearing your other opinions. And of course, subscribe to The Other Opinion for more deep dives.
Share it with your friends too. Help us get these different perspectives out there.
Thanks for joining us.